Just switch it on first. The black one's a bit clearer for your vocals, I think. Just stretch it up. The thing at the bottom, the screw. You just slide it up to whatever height you want.
When I woke up, when I was a little bit nervous about doing this talk, but the girlfriend told me to imagine everyone in the audience was naked and they'd be coming down.
Half of them naked.
Anyway. My name is Justin Miller. I've lived here in Hillwood all my life, where I've helped run our family business, Miller's Orchards, which was established by my grandfather back in the 1930s. We employ around 20 full-time workers and up to 60 at the height of the season. Our enterprise consists mainly of apples, but also of cherries, which Tasmania has an increasing demand. A large portion of our produce is destined for the export market. Last year we sent apples to Taiwan and cherries to numerous countries, including France, Italy and Holland. During the fight against the pulp mill, we've heard so much talk about our importance of our image abroad. It is, however, so very true. Other countries seek Tasmanian produce for two reasons: quality and its image in that it comes from a clean and pristine environment. They don't want our stuff because it's cheaper, because it's not. Our cost of production makes our produce dearer, so we cannot compete in terms of price. On an international stage, our only strengths to compete with, and which stand us apart from the rest, are our quality and our clean green image. If we risk this, then in the long term we are risking thousands of jobs throughout Tasmania. It won't just affect the Tamar Valley though. If any cases of contamination or pollution do happen down the track, it will affect our image as a state. Tassie is seen as a very small place and people won't differentiate between areas close to the mill and others which are not. Just recently, a friend of my father's called into work to say hello. He's a cattle salesman for Fatty. When asked how things are going up there, he replied, a bit slow. There just isn't the cattle about at the moment. His reason being was that cattle pasture was being turned into plantations. Now, the Longford Meat Company employ around 600 people, and they rely on a certain volume of beef or lamb to continually keep them employed. So if the total volume of cattle was to drop 25%, which given the amount of plantations being put in is probably a modest amount, then that would mean 150 to 200 meat workers would be out of work. And that's just in one company alone. That's just one area the proposed pulp mill is already affected. So if things like this, in which we don't hear much about, and together with the possibility of our image being tarnished, the initial major positive of the pulp mill, which was jobs in the first place, is nearly being outweighed already. Of course we need to create jobs though, for our people and the economy. But there are so many other ways which we can do so. Tas Alkaloids is a company I use as an example. They use poppies grown from our farms here in Tassie and make morphine destined for the European market. That company employs 220 people at their plant. TPI Enterprise just recently became the third business in the poppy game to open up. So between them, Tas Alkaloids and GlaxoSmithKline, they employ around 500 people. And that's without including the farmers which grow the poppies for them. And then in turn, farmers need fertilisers, machinery and so on, so that has a flow-on effect as well. This is the sort of industry we need here in Tasmania. It employs people in a wide range of jobs, is environmentally sound, and we don't need to spend millions of dollars of taxpayers' money on propaganda to sell it to the Tasmanian people. If they spend a portion of the same money on researching to alternative markets for Tas produce overseas, imagine how many jobs they might create broadening and growing the horticultural sector. Yeah. There's always a market for quality, and Tasmanians are continually finding niche markets for themselves overseas in agriculture as well. But it takes time and money and travel and do the research. It just doesn't seem fair that you should spend so much of our money on one private company, on one project that people...
miners do.
Of course, this doesn't mean everyone has to be a farmer, because farmers need electricians, mechanics, nurses, bank managers as well. It just means that when you have a strength, you build around it, not put it at risk. And then there's tourism as well. The year before last, Tasmania was voted the second most beautiful island in the world. If only we can hang on to our pristine image, Tassie has a great future for years to come, as the rest of the world falls further behind. This brings you to the point of the future. Think about how we viewed the environment 10 years ago. Now think of our attitudes today. As each year passes, we're becoming more and more aware of the problem that confronts us. So what will the attitudes be in another 10 years? How state of the art will this pulp mill look then? We can't even address major concerns like the smell and effluent outflow now. They tell us, however, and it's their only defence, that it's the world's best practices. Well, have a look at the rest of the world. If this was like the rest of the world, there'd be no reason for tourists to come here for a start. Government and Gunns claim we can have the best of both worlds, though. Of course they do. When there's millions of dollars to be made, they'll do and say anything to persuade us. Bottom line is, we don't know and they don't know what the effects of the industry will be until it's up and running. And by then it'll be too late. A pulp mill this big, in a place this small and beautiful, simply isn't worth the risk.
Thank you, Justin. That's the voice of the community. Next.